and also to help grow your business. So our speaker this morning is here specifically to do that, to help you grow your business. Now, if you guys are anything like I was, when I got out of school, I kind of knew what direction I wanted to go in with my career, but I wasn't really sure. So I kind of got started, and then that didn't quite work. So I went off and I did something else, and I did that for a really long time, but that got to the point where I didn't like doing that anymore, and then I switched to something else. Anybody here ever find that they were a little bit lost and not quite sure what they were doing or how they were going to get from A to B? All right, so our speaker, Wendy Richmond, Wild Wendy Richmond, was in that same boat. Wendy also didn't quite know what she wanted to do, and she had an epiphany one morning and decided that she wanted to work with people. And so she went and she got herself a job at Dale Carnegie. Anybody heard of the Dale Carnegie classes? They can change people's lives. And it changed Wendy. Wendy learned to be a dynamic speaker. She learned how to build relationships. And from that career, she catapulted herself into the HR world. And in the HR world, she dealt with people every day. People who were coming to her and saying, how do I boost my career? How do I get to the next level? I'm not sure I really like what I'm doing. How do I figure out where it is that I want to go? And so Wendy figured out that she had a calling. And her calling was being able to help people answer some of those questions. How do I walk into a room and learn how to network? How do I ask somebody for a referral? How do I build my business? How do I get my company to go from A to B? And those are some of the things that Wild Wendy Richmond is going to talk to us about this morning. And I want to just let you know that wild doesn't mean that Wendy is wild, although in speaking to her this morning, I think that that attribute kind of plays into Wendy's personality. But wild actually is an acronym that stands for something, and you're going to learn about that this morning as well. So without any further ado, I would like to introduce you to our speaker this morning, Wild Wendy Richmond. Good morning. Good morning. How are you? Good morning. Oh, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. All right. I am so glad to be here. Let me get over here now. I'm so glad to be here. Look at you all, so bright and chipper this early in the morning. Almost. Can you tell I'm a morning person? Yes. How many of you are morning people like me? Oh, okay. Well, you know what I'm going to do? I will tone it down for about 2 minutes to let you other ones warm up, and then we're going to kick it in gear, okay? So, I'm actually here today. My name is Wild Wendy Richmond, and I'm here today to show you how to utilize memorable marketing strategies in your networking so you can easily capture, nurture, cultivate prospects. In turn, you can make more money in 45 days than you did in the last 8 months. Does that sound good to you, everybody? Please say yes, that sounds good. Yes. Yeah, all right. Now, also at the end of my time here with you today, I'm going to actually tell you a story. It's going to wrap everything up for you, and I'm going to actually unveil another memorable marketing strategy that you can take away from today and apply immediately to your businesses and to bring in even more money. Does that sound good to you? Everybody say, yes, that sounds good. Yes. All right. Good. Well, now, I'm sure when you all heard about this particular meeting this morning, and you thought, oh, interesting topic. But who the heck is this Wild Wendy? And why should we listen to a darn thing she has to say? Well, if I was sitting in your seat, I'd be thinking the same thing, all right? So let me tell you a little bit about my background, just so you know where I'm coming from and how I got to teach you and to talk to you about this today. My background, I have a human resource training and development background, and I was very successful in my career. I've done lots of things, you know, as Meryl did explain to you. And what I did was I actually success coached my employees. And it worked so well that I wanted to help other people.
So I'm an author as well, and I actually wrote this book, How to Create Wild Success Within Your Organization. Okay? And the thing is that over the last couple of years, I partnered as well with Dave Farrow, who is the 2-time Guinness World Record holder for greatest memory. And I started a memory business. And that memory business was so successful so quickly because I was starting to utilize memorable marketing strategies. The thing that I didn't have before when it came to business was, one, I didn't know anything about marketing. Nobody really teaches you so much about marketing unless you get a degree, but the kind of marketing that I learned, direct response marketing, was a whole different ball of wax. And the minute I started using those techniques was the minute that my business just took and went like off the charts. And I want to show you here something. Where is this? This book, and this is one of 4 books that I have, and again, one of my memory business. These are all testimonials of people who have paid me to teach them about their memory. And now it's about 6 months. Okay? So when it comes to this stuff, it works. So that's what I'm going to really dig in and talk to you about today. Okay? Now, just so you know, I do speaking about 1/3 of my time, and then the other 2/3 of my time, I'm actually, just like you, my life is just like yours. I'm out there, I have clients who want what they need, I have marketing challenges that I have to deal with every day. So what I'm going to teach you here and talk to you about today is basically based on theory, not based on theory, but based on reality. Okay? And we're going to get to some practical things today, and I'm telling you straight out, I am here to make you money. How's that sound? Does that sound good? Yes. They say yes. Everybody say yes. Come on. All right. Make sure you're still awake with me. Okay. So now I got to give you a little bit of background too about me and this whole thing with networking. And I know my talk is going to be about networking, but really memorable marketing strategies within networking. And you can apply this to anywhere, because it doesn't matter. Some of you might be thinking, oh, I'm a great networker. I don't need to really hear about how to network better. I want the marketing stuff. Well, let me tell you, what I'm going to teach you today is marketing that can be applied to any of your marketing, and just with a focus on networking, because this is a networking group, okay? Now for me though, I just got to give you an idea. I have this thing called cold networking, something I hate to do. And I call it cold networking grunt work, okay? You know why? Think about this. Cold networking to me is like, you remember back in high school, okay? Remember those Friday night dances in high school? You remember those? Can some of you remember that far back, okay? Yeah. It takes me a while to get there. But I remember I used to love those dances, okay? And I used to go to those dances every Friday night. Most of the time I went alone, by myself. So I get there, remember at the dances, right? You walk in there and the music's pumping, right? You're like, oh, you look at all the people that are having such a good time, and you're sitting there going, shoot, I really want to dance. I really want to dance. But either you don't have the nerve, right? You're afraid, or, nobody asks you. Okay? So this thing about cold networking, there's nothing warm and fuzzy to me about walking into a group of people I've never met before, trying to have a conversation with them, and then have them run away from me as fast as I'm running towards them, maybe even just in their minds, even though we're all here for the same thing. So what I did was I had to do something about it, all right? Before with my networking, now you've been to these events, okay? And I love the events, I know how to do them now, but back when I was young, have you ever been to the networking events where they have the round tables? There's 8 to 10 people at the table, right? Everybody stands up, gets their 5 minutes to talk, right? So they talk for 5 minutes and then they give you their business card. Well, I used to go to those all the time. I'd sit and I'd listen. My memory was shoddy at best, so I couldn't remember what they talked about. I took their card, I said thank you, okay. Walked home with a stack of cards this thick. Got to my, where I used to stack them actually on my bookcase. So I had the stack from this networking event right there. Now since I didn't really want any of their services, I didn't know why I needed them, and nobody expressed interest in my services, that, that stack, it sat right there. Nice stack, I got a lot of cards. And then I went to the next event, same thing happened, I got another stack of cards, I stuck them in there. Boy, I had 10 stacks, 100 cards of people that I was like, I don't know, not following up with them, I don't know how to do that. Okay? So I got tired of that, and I said, have you, well, I decided, I'm not going anymore, I'm not doing this networking stuff. You know what happens when you stop networking? Absolutely nothing happens. right? So I went, I learned how to do it. I got books, I invested in systems, I paid thousands of dollars for like networking gurus to teach me how to do this better. And that's how I created my memorable networking system, because I wanted to systematize it and make it so it would work for me. Okay? So what I'm going to talk to you here today, we're going to really get into these marketing techniques and things like that. But first off, I want to give you a foundation. Make sure we're all on the same page when it comes to marketing. Now, I know you've heard this probably time and time again, but I really believe that it never hurts to hear more about marketing on a regular basis, because it will bring to light maybe some holes in our marketing. And if you've got holes in your marketing, you are losing money. Plain and simple. So let's just talk about these real quick, and then we're going to get into the actual, actual techniques and things. So first, the 3 gotta-haves of marketing. If you don't have all 3 of these, you are leaving money on the table and losing it on a regular basis. Number 1 is your message. What is your message to the marketplace? What are you saying when you come to these marketing or these networking events? Is your message so powerful that it's attracting people to you, that they must do something with you? And it's so targeted to that person that they say, I want what you got. Is your message like that? If it's not, that's something you can work on. Now I'm going to give you a model. First, let me ask you questions. The one question you're going to be asked, the most important question you're ever going to be asked when it comes to your marketing and your business, as long as you're in it, is this. Why should I, your prospect, choose you versus every and any other competition out there? Why should I do business with your company versus all the other people who do the same things? And when you can master the answer to that question, then your marketing challenges go away. It's the key to all your marketing success is having a great answer to that question. So here's what that answer is. It's based around your USP. You've all heard this, right? Your unique selling proposition. What makes you different than your competition? So I'm going to actually give you a model, a demonstration, a model of a really, really good USP. And what I want you to do is, while I'm saying it, I want you to think about and compare it to your own USPs and how they compare. Okay? So, let me tell you the story about this USP. These 2 guys, and maybe you've heard the story before, some of you, these 2 guys actually were brothers, and they wanted to go to college. They didn't have any money to go to college, so what they did was they knew they had to start a business. The business they started was Domino's Pizza. Y'all heard of Domino's Pizza, right? Okay. Now, there's an interesting thing. Tom Monahan started Domino's Pizza. Their USP is probably one of the best that have ever been created in the last, 50 years. So let's dissect it and see. And then you think about your own USP and how it compares. So first off, Tom Monahan wasn't trying to be all things to all people. He didn't say that my pizza has the best ingredients from Italy, there was a secret recipe from my family handed down. He didn't even say anything about great pizza. Okay? He was very, very targeted and focused. What he did, there's lots of ways to actually figure out your USP. But what he did was he took advantage, it's called the opportunity gap advantage. Something for you to think about. What he did was he looked at his industry, the pizza industry. He saw what was the industry lacking. What was something that people aren't dealing with? What do customers really want but they're not getting? He figured it out, he laser beam focused on it, and then he created his USP based on this. The other thing about USPs is that I also talk about being specific versus being general. He didn't say you're going to get pizza quick and fast. What he said was you're going to get pizza 30 minutes or less, or I'll pay for it. That's what we call accountable marketing. Most businesses won't do it, can't do it, okay? But the ones who do it, they can leverage enormous things in their industries by having accountable marketing, having a guarantee. Most people don't have guarantees, okay? So, he took those 3 things, made his statement very concise, and then he built his entire marketing message around that one USP. And it built an empire. So, as we're going along, again, I want you to think about the fact that what is your USP? How powerful is it? Is it attracting people and drawing people to you versus you having to go and find them? Okay? All right. So, there's your message. Something to start thinking about. Next thing is your market. This whole thing about marketing, finding target markets is so, there's a great art to it, and I want you to think about the markets that you are targeting right now. Are you targeting your markets? So many people, what they do today is, and what I used to do a long time ago, is they would print up thousands of brochures, go outside, wait for a big wind to blow, and then throw them up in the air and hope that somebody sees it and wants my services, right? Versus picking people that are specifically targeted, who you have success stories with, who know, like, and trust you, who can bring in more people who are just like them. Are you targeting those people in the right places? Okay? Now, here's something else again, your media, right? There's all different kinds of media. For today, we'll talk about networking, but just again remind you, everything I tell you today about networking can be applied to your marketing. This is a networking group, so I wanted to make sure and focus it on that too, and help you in that way. So media, and how are you doing it? With my media, what I want is that I want people to come to me who are ready, willing, and able to pay for my services. And I don't want to have to worry about competition. So how do you do it? You do it with systems. You got to have a system in place. Systems make things so easy. Systems are processes that are tested, that are accountable and trackable. You get the system in order, then you can let it go for a long period of time without having to tweak it. So everybody, if you don't have marketing systems in place, you are again losing money on a regular basis because you're not systematized. Now, I put the system together, and we'll talk about that in just a second, but I want to let you know two things real quick. Number one is that I creatively borrowed the information that I'm teaching you today. I'm a firm believer. Let me tell you what, I'm no spring chicken anymore. I admit it. Okay? And I used to, as a young person, want to reinvent the wheel all the time. But then I said, no, why am I doing that? Why not find somebody who's doing what I want to do, learn from them, and then create the systems based off of already successful systems? I don't work with anything other than successful systems today. I'm not wasting my time. Another thing that I want you to think about is called, I call it ISB, Industry Success Borrowing. If you're not doing this now, again, you are wasting time and money. Because every industry has successful things going on in it. People that are successful doing certain things. So what I get to do as a consultant is that I get to go into one industry, I see what's going on in that industry, I take the most successful thing and I might teach it to industry B. And then I'll see what's going on in industry B and I might teach it then to industry A. So no matter what, getting in the habit of looking around at companies in different industries that are doing successful things and then modeling, creatively borrowing it for your own companies or services. Okay? So what we're going to talk about, and then we're going to dig right in, is this whole thing about, I've got a great example, and it's actually called, it came from the real estate industry. Who's in real estate? Got okay? You've heard of this, I'm sure. But they have a wonderful thing, it's called farming. Farming. Now, it's not about actually getting on a horse and being behind the horse in the field for from dawn till dusk. No. But what farming is getting a specific targeted market that you can totally dominate. It's actually in a geographic area. You can totally dominate and be the dominant presence in like as quick as time as possible. That's what farming is. And that is something that each and every one of you can do when it comes to the markets that you choose. One of the biggest problems that most businesses do and have is because their markets are too big. When you try to go after too big a market, I'll give you an example. I'm a professional speaker. One of the things when I started my speaking business was I created a brochure. Thousands of brochures, cost me thousands of dollars. I then bought a list of meeting planners across the country and I sent them my brochure. What a waste. I might as well have just taken the $2,000 I spent on the mailing and I might as well just lit it on fire. Too big a market versus actually finding something very targeted that you can dominate. Now, it doesn't have to be geographic. It could be, for example, like you work with chiropractors. Maybe you work with chiropractors who are making $100,000 or more and they're in a certain, maybe Portland, Oregon area. Or it could be, say, chiropractors who are making $250,000 a year and they're in the United States. So it doesn't have to be a geographic target. But a good target, say for example, is this chamber. Once you become a member of the chamber, now you're in. And you can, if you're smart, you know what you do, you can become the dominant presence and that you are the go-to person for whatever your products or services are. If you know how to do it. That's the stuff I'm going to teach you here today. Okay? Does that sound good? Everybody say, yes, that sounds good. That sounds good. Sweet. All right, let's move on. So, we're going to talk about the 3 things you can do. All right? Number 1, in the capturing, all right, make sure you're capturing your prospects and how you become the dominant presence in your particular field. Here we go. Is this. 4 ways of being memorable during networking opportunities. Okay, so let's talk about these 4 ways. And you, while I'm saying these things, I want you to actually think about your own businesses. And are you doing this right now while you're out and about? And could you do it better? Number 1 is this whole prospect, I call it a prospect benefit statement. You've heard this before. It's the 30-second commercial, the elevator pitch. Let me tell you, you pitch me, I'm gone. Yeah. You tell me a commercial, I hate that saying, 30-second commercial, because most commercials are all brand building and it's all about the company. I did this, we've been in business for this long, we do this, we do this, we do this. Who cares? I don't care. What can you do for me now? And if you don't say that, the first words that come out of your mouth, people zone out. They're gone. There's no reason for them to listen to you. So I'm going to give you an example of how powerful this PBS is, right? Your prospect benefit statement. Because it's all benefit related to your prospect. Is this. I was at a networking event of women business owners not too long ago. And I actually got to stand up and give my 30 seconds. So I'll give you what happened and what I said. I said, hi, good morning. I said, my name is Wild Wendy Richmond, and I am a memorable marketing and expert and consultant. And I show women business owners how to get more customers and clients in 30 minutes than you can get in 6 months by utilizing one of the most overlooked, underrated, memorable marketing strategies, grassroots speaking. Even if you're standing up and wowing your audiences now, or you're deathly afraid of getting up in front of a group. Again, my name is Wild Wendy Richmond. I'm a memorable marketing expert and consultant. I said that. That 30 seconds from that networking group, the one time I was there, got me, just so you know, I got a client worth $500 initially. The lifetime value of this client is about $3,000, and that's not even including referrals. So do you think having a good PBS is worthwhile to think about and make really good? Okay? Now, I have another one. Let me tell you this one here. I want to read it because I want to make sure. But I heard this one, and it knocked my socks off. So here's this one. We help understaffed business owners grossing $1 to $10 million a year to pay the least amount of taxes legally owed each year without adding an extra minute of work to your day. Even if your bookkeeping is a total disaster right now. Okay? You hear that? If you've got any of those things going on in your business, you want to talk to that person. And just so you know, even with and I don't say it to brag, I just tell you that I did my 30-second commercial, I didn't have to go up to anyone. They spent the rest of the time coming up to me. The people who were attracted and were interested in what I had to say, they came to me. I didn't have to do any cold networking, grunt work. Okay? All right, so getting your prospect benefit statement. What are you saying to people? The first words out of your mouth. What are you saying when somebody says, what do you do? All right. Next thing is targeting who you actually speak to at these events. I mean, I understand you want to get to know a lot of people, but when it comes to really being stealth, really being and getting in there and utilizing that group as quickly as possible, you've got to know your ideal client and customer, right? So if you know that, let me give you an example. Say you're in financial services, all right, and you deal with the elderly and the retirement for the elderly. And you have done some analysis on your current business, and you find that normally before you talk to the elderly person, you really talk to their sons. You know it's their sons. It's that targeted. The sons are between 45 and 60. Okay, so you know your ideal prospect at this time is a male 45 to 60. Well, if that's your target, you can look around this group right now, and you can have a pretty good idea of who you should talk to first. You're not going to go up to the 30-year-old female and say, hi, this is what I do. You're wasting your time at this point. So are you so targeted and know your customers so well that you can actually go into a group and go, oh, yep, 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 yep. And then, after like another round would be then talking to other people in the group who don't fit your demographic. Okay, but first, get in and talk to the people who you know are going to be ideal clients first, customers first. Okay, next thing is how are you going to be remembered, all right? You're going to be remembered. And this is a big deal. Okay, and we've all talked about first impressions, right? We all know first impressions are not about how you perceive yourself. First impressions are how you are perceived by others. Okay? So, again, some basic things, but I'm not going to spend time on them. But is one, are you enthusiastic? If I talk to you and it doesn't look like you care about what you do, or you don't love what you do, next. You don't smile, next. Even if it's first thing in the morning, you don't smile, next. Okay? The other thing is, again, are you caring? When you have your prospect benefit statement, are you telling me how much you are helping people? Versus, I do this, I do this, I do this. I want to know what you do for others. How do you help others? And show me that you care. So then the other thing is this whole thing with personal branding, okay? Personal branding, what you look like. You've heard the saying, everybody's heard it, is don't judge a book by its cover. We're all human. We judge books by their covers, whether we know it or not. So what you look like, and how does what you look like memorable? So for example, let me give you a couple examples. Me, I'll start with me. I invested like $25,000 with a guru, marketing guru, to work on my personal branding. And I'm known as Wild Wendy because it's way more memorable than Wendy. Okay? Also, look at my outfit. What is it about my outfit that is very unique and different? Yeah! Besides being able to do this, right? I actually am doing this on purpose because everybody remembers the sneakers. Okay? So it's whether or not you do something when it comes to what you look like, right? Or have the name, like a Wild Wendy, but maybe your industry you can't do that. So let me give you an example of somebody else who's done something quite unique. This man is an actual appliance repair, high-end appliance repair guy. And he's known in the world as the appliance doctor. Yeah. And so what, people don't even know his name, but do you remember appliance doctor? He got somebody to make a cartoon of him, and he puts this in all of his advertising. Very memorable. I'll talk to you about one other one, is that real estate, okay? Because some people have these, industries where, oh, I can't do all that kind of stuff, right? But I think you can. But if you have the mindset that you can't, okay? So here's an example of a couple, real estate, and their last name was Best, okay? They were using the slogan, simply the best. Now, no, it's not memorable. Who cares? I mean, slogans, let me tell you, if you're basing your whole marketing on your slogan, you have to spend millions of dollars like a Coca-Cola or Nike to get people to remember a slogan. So they used an image. So it's like Best. What represents Best? They actually picked an Olympic gold medal. And they took that and they put that on all of their advertising, all of their marketing, so then they were known as the Olympic couple. So even if they met somebody at a networking event, they couldn't remember their names, what happened was people would call up on the phone and go, yeah, I met that Olympic couple. They knew exactly who to give the phone to. So are you, again, either wearing something, is your name different, what makes you stand out from all the rest? Because if you were forgotten, that is money gone. With me so far? Okay? All right. So let's keep going. So now we're going to actually talk about conversations. I teach, all right, this whole thing about conversations and getting to know people straight away. I actually have 3 types of conversations that you can, if you get these down, bring in more business just by having the right kind of conversations than you ever did before. And let's go through them, all right, and I'm going to, our timing here today. I'm going to ask you a question and see what the group thinks, all right? Because our time is, pretty limited, because I know we want to get everybody out of here on time, is that I have a little mini workshop on a conversation workshop that I could walk you through quickly. Or we could talk more about some of the other types of marketing. So who wants to be walked through a little workshop on conversations? Who wants the marketing? Marketing? People are like, whatever, just teach me something. Okay. So, well, since I didn't get a lot, we'll do, because I think you're going to enjoy the workshop. And again, the marketing. Here's what I'll promise you and anybody here, that if we don't get through, because I've got tons of information, so if you're wondering why I'm talking fast, I hope you're listening faster. Okay? I have so much information to give you in a very short period of time, but if I don't get to it all, okay, is that I'll make sure if you give me your email addresses, I will send you the PowerPoints, which has all the information that I talked about, okay? So I'll do that with you. But let's talk about the first kind of conversation, the getting to know you conversation. This is the key to building instant rapport with anyone. I hear people talking all the time, and they say, yeah, you know, I start the conversation. Anybody start a conversation with somebody new, and then it kind of like goes, oh, now what do we talk about? You ever get to that kind of place where it's a little like, you know? And if that ever happens to you, let me tell you what, you make somebody feel uncomfortable, then they're not going to want to do, you know, build rapport with you and do as much business with you as they could if you had made them feel comfortable. So right now I'm going to teach you the 7 topics that you can talk to anyone about and to start your conversations. I'm going to give you a little hint too. The best thing that I've ever found when it comes to rapport is not talking business first. You all heard this, right? Even though somebody might ask you what you do, you know what? You tell them quickly with your prospect benefit statement, and you move on, and you talk about something other than business. If you get to know somebody as a person first, because people do business with people. People want friends. You are not my friend if I don't know you. You might have, unless I am in desperate need for your service, I am not going to like jump to do business with you if I just meet you. But if you show me you care, you have a conversation to get to know me as a person, then I am way more likely to say, okay, let's do business, even though I just met you 10, 15 minutes ago. So here are the 7 topics, but now I'm a memory expert as well, so I'm going to actually walk you through an easy, it's called a memory stack, a way for you to actually remember the 7 topics. So if you ever get into a situation where you are like stuck for what to say, and it gets awkward, or you don't know how to begin something, I'm going to show you how you'll remember any of these 7 topics, okay? But I want you first to actually think. When I say this and walk you through it, I want you to do it yourselves and try to see it in your mind's eye and follow along with me, okay? All right. Number 1, I want you to picture yourselves. Can you picture yourself walking down a sidewalk and there's a white picket fence beside you? You get to a gate and you see that there's a big nameplate on the gate and it's flashing in red lights your name. Can you see that? Everybody, you see it? Try and see it. So then you actually push open the gate and you see there's a big purple house right there in front of you. It's a huge purple house. Can you see a big purple house? Okay? Now, as you're looking at the house, all of a sudden the windows fly open and all these screaming kids come out at you. Can you see that? Okay? All right, so let's go back and just see how you're doing. It's early, so see if you can remember these things. You're walking down the sidewalk, you get to the gate. What's flashing in red lights? Your name, tell me, okay? Then you open up the gate and you see what? Purple house, very good. What comes out of the window? Very good, okay. Now, you notice as you're looking up the house, coming out of the chimney is this big work glove. It's a huge work glove. Can you see that? Coming out of the chimney. While it's crazy, but wait, it's memorable. Okay? And as you're looking up there, this airplane flies into the work glove and the work glove grabs it. Can you see that? All right, now, a couple more things. You notice on the airplane that the propellers are actually their tennis rackets. Can you see that? And lastly, you look real close and you see that the tennis rackets are on there. They're screwed on with a light bulb that is flashing on and off really, really fast. Can you see that? Got it? Okay. Now, let's go through it and make sure you talk back to me so I make sure you understand. And remember, you're walking down, you get to the gate. What's flashing in red lights? Very good. You open up the gate. What do you see? Very good. What's coming out of the windows? Very good. You look up. What's coming out of the chimney? Work glove. What's going into? Airplane. What you look and what do you see next? Tennis rackets instead of propellers, right? And what are they shooting with? Light bulb flashing on and off. Very good. I think you're warning people after all. Now, here's what I just taught you, just so you know. If you could go through that stack, you can remember 7 topics that you can talk to anybody about when you first meet them. So let's go through them and make sure we understand what they are. Number 1 is what's flashing in red lights? Your name. Your name, right? People's names, right? I come from Dale Carnegie. I learned that people's names are the sweetest names that they could ever hear. When you don't use somebody's name or you incorrectly use their name, you block a chance for you to build that rapport. So, but, say for example, using somebody's name, but here's something else you can do. You can ask people about their names. If somebody has a really unique or different name, or have a kind of a weird spelling or something, you go, oh, that's an interesting name. You know, what's the origin of your name? Or how do you spell that? The minute you start talking about their names, you can have a whole conversation on somebody's name. And then they be the best conversationalist ever. Because you focus on the thing that's most important to them. Have you ever been called with the wrong name? How'd you feel? Do you want to do business with them? They can't even get your name right. How are they going to actually do their service right? Okay? Next thing, all right, so you got the name down. So you ask people their names, right? It's so important. Now, you push up in the gate, what do you see? Purple house, which represents where you live. Where you live. Where are you from? What town do you live in? You can ask a whole slew of questions about, okay, well, where, how long you been there? Do you own? Do you rent? Where would you like to live? You get people talking about the future. Oh man, you're golden. People are like, oh boy, I'd like to live in this mansion over there. I mean, you get people, right? So where they live. Now, you see what comes out of the windows. Baby kids! People love talking about their children. Most people. And if you ask somebody, well, do you have kids? Most people say yes, no. I had one person who said, no. And then, of course, I said, why no? And he went on and talked to me for like 15 minutes about why he did not want to have children. We bonded. It was awesome. Okay? So the kids are like, what are your kids' names? How old are they? What do they do? Where do they go to school? You could go a whole thing, you know. So now we keep going. What's coming out of the chimney? Work glove. Where do you work? Right? The standard. What do you do for a living? But instead of just saying, what do you do? You could ask something like, how long have you been doing that? What do you think has made you the most successful at what you do? What would you like to do next? And again, get people talking about the future. Oh yeah, I'm going to run this company. Tell me about that. And then shut up and listen. Okay? So, work. All kinds of questions about work. So then we keep going on is, what's going into the work glove? Airplane, representing travel, right? People who travel love to talk about where they travel. So if you said, hey, have you been anywhere in the last year? Yeah, I just got back from Paris. Oh my gosh, I love Paris. Look, their whole state changes because they're talking about Paris. And then you say, so tell me about it. Now, here's a little kind of insider tip about this. Is when you're talking with someone, you don't want to be interviewing them, right? So you want to make sure you're still connected. So, but this is what you don't want to do. If you went to Paris and you told me, okay, Isabel, yes. You told me that you went to Paris, that she could say, oh yeah, I went to Paris, I love Paris. Some people do this. Oh, I went to Paris too? Man, I had a great time on my trip. We went here, we went there, we went there, we went there, we went there, we went there. What is she doing? Gone. Because again, I took it off her. So here's what you say. Oh, I went to Paris too to connect because I've been there. It's a great place. Tell me about your trip. And then shut up. Listen. Okay? So let's keep going. We're almost done. All right. So now the work club. You have the airplane. What are the propellers? Sports. Right? Sports. People. Let me tell you. People are into sports. Either they play it, they love it, or they watch their favorite team, they love it. Right? But again, I've got to give you a warning. Say, for example, okay, Bob. I asked Bob, okay, I said, Bob, what's your favorite sports team?
The New York Knicks.
New York Knicks, okay? Now, who's a big rival for the Knicks? Celtics, okay. So, he tells me, oh, I like the Knicks. Well, this is what you don't do in a conversation. Oh, man, I like the Celtics, and we kicked your butt last time we did. People take it on themselves. No, even though, you know what? Even though you like the Celtics, you still say, oh, that's cool, all right, so tell me, what do you like about the Knicks? And then, only then, if they ask you, then you answer. If people don't ask you questions about something, they don't want to know. Or they don't care to know. You got it? So you ask as many and get to know them. You will be seen as the best conversationist ever if you do not talk so much. Now, since you've all gone through this, next time you talk to each other, there'll be complete silence. But then the last thing, all right? So those tennis rackets are screwed in with what? Light bulb, which represents ideas, right? The flashing light bulb, ideas. What are your thoughts on, like current events, things like that? Things going, what about Sandy? Were you affected by Sandy? You know, those kinds of things. You can talk about current events. 3 topics you never talk about when you're meeting somebody for the first time. What are they?
Religion.
Religion, politics, and money. Money, no, don't be spousing money, but sex, never. You'll never have to go there on the first date. I mean, on the first talk. Okay, so when you have that kind of conversation with somebody, if you get that down, you will bond so much with people and build instant rapport that they will want to do business. They will be more open to hearing what it is that you have to say. Okay? All right, got it. What time are we going to? We're good? Okay. 5 or 10 minutes? All right, we'll do 2 more so I get the conversations and then all the other, like I said, the marketing stuff. And if anybody has questions too, you can always, contact me and we can talk about any of the other things that I might not have gotten to. I just have so much information. Okay, so next one, and this whole thing about referrals. You can actually get referrals by listening alone. If you build an instant rapport with somebody, and you know who your target market is, your ideal customer or client, if you talk to somebody and you ask the right kinds of questions, you can find out specifically people that you can ask for a referral. So let me give you an example. If you're in real estate, I'll do real estate because it's really easy. Real estate knows that there are certain events in someone's life that if you hear that, then that should be a flag for you that could be a good prospect for you, right? So you can have a conversation with someone, the next level, and say, you know what, Ben, have you lived here your entire life? Well, do you have any family around here? And get them talking about their family, because again, people love talking about their family. Oh, where do they live? How many kids do they have? And when you bond and instant rapport with people, they will tell you all kinds of stuff about them. So much stuff maybe you don't even want to know. But they will tell you, and you listen. Remember, you've heard this, I'm sure, before. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. If you do more listening when you have conversations, you can garner an enormous amount of business. So once you hear it, then if you build a rapport, you can say, boy, your brother-in-law sounds like a great, I could really help him with what I do, and is it possible for you to, let me contact him, or you can contact him for me. Easy. And if they know, like, and trust you, they will give you the information. Let's get the last one, getting to know who they know. This is one of the keys in the farms that most people do not go after. And I'm going to give you the story, the kind of a wrap-up story with all of this, and again, the other marketing things, and I can even come back and do another one on all the other kinds of marketing things. But this is really, it's fascinating, is that I have I'm part of a lot of different networking groups and mastermind groups. And there's a gentleman in one of my groups, his name is Mark. He's an SEO guy. So he teaches search engine optimization. Now, he knows who his target market is, all right? They're small business owners from 1 to 15 employees. He knows that what he can do for them. He shows them how to utilize online marketing to grow their businesses. So he's been part of this group for about 5 months now, and he's done a couple of things really well. One, he targeted the group and all small business owners that have the right kind of target for him. So he went to the right group, right? He is known as the SEO guy for our group. He also has made it so we really want to do business with him because he's given us lots of free information. He has gifted us a webinar. He's also given us his e-zine and given us VIP status for his e-zine, so we feel really special. So then I overheard this conversation. I'm actually, let's see, am I going to, I want to put it up here, so wait, let me get this for you. But this conversation is interesting because, the best kind of conversations, right, you have when you're not really thinking about it, like during your breaks or, you're just kind of hanging out. So here's, come on. I apologize, sorry. Oh gosh, come here, it's gotta be faster. Okay, here it is. All right. So I want to put it up here because I want you to, just for those of you who like to read, you can see it, okay? But here's the conversation that I overheard. Mark is talking with Tim, okay? And Tim actually said that, they go, hey Tim, how are things going with your daughter Jessica? Did she finally graduate from high school? Tim, yeah, she finally made it. I was a little worried, but things are good now. Mark, that is awesome. I'm so glad to hear that. Does she know where she's going to college? Tim, oh, I think she's going to stay in New York City. Not sure what she's going to choose. So, she's so undecided now. He looks at his watch. He's like, oh shoot, I got to go. Oh, we got to leave early because I'm part of the programming committee of my association, and so I got to leave early today. Mark is like, oh, you mean there's an association for appliance repair guys? Yeah, there is, and I'm the programming chair, so I got to leave early today. So then Mark thinks, he hears and goes, oh, okay, here's another people that they know, and he said, hey, have you ever thought about having somebody come in and teach some SEO to your appliance repair businesses? And again, Tim was like, oh shoot, I've never thought of that. Can you do something for us? Yes, Tim, Mark says, sure, I'll actually, put something together and contact you, next week. Here, think about it. I want to tell you what happened with this. It's quite fascinating. Because he listened, all right, for people that they know, because everybody knows is a center of influence for other people, right? If you're a member of this group, chances are you're a member of other groups. So what he did, he heard it, he said, okay, I could do something for that group. So what he did, he made Tim look really, really good because he gifted the new association a free webinar, and Mark did such a great job that next thing you know, he actually got clients. He got 2 clients worth about $4,000 each, and it's about $8,000 for doing a webinar to a brand new group. Tim looks awesome because he brought in this great guy, so it's a win-win-win for everyone. So the next level of conversations is when you're having conversations with people is to listen for what they're saying and what other things they do, what other places they're associated with, and how can you take what it is that you do and apply it to the group instead of the individual. And then you start to get into that whole cultivating part. Make sense? So those 3 levels of conversations, if you can get those down, you can get more business from any kind of networking than you do. All right, now, because